problem with taking a hardcore, track-focused supercar and peeling away its roof is that you undo all the good work you did in making it a hardcore, track-focused supercar in the first place.
It becomes heavier, far less torsionally rigid. It becomes massively compromised, unless that car happens to be a McLaren 600 LT Spider. It's one of the few drop-top, track-going supercars that actually makes sense. The 600 LT Coupe was probably the best new car I drove last year. This 600 LT Spider should deliver much more of the same. McLaren says it's 50 kilograms heavier than the Coupe. Does it feel it? Not at all. If it weren't for the fact that it's a little bit windy in this cabin and I've got a million miles of headroom, would I know that I was driving a convertible? I just don't think I would. It feels exactly like the 600 LT Coupe. That's a good thing. The Coupe was maybe my favourite car of 2018. I loved it. It was fantastic to drive. So for this thing to drive just the same way, well, that maybe tells you everything you need to know. So there's no loss of torsional rigidity, so it's really not compromised. In terms of handling, in terms of steering precision, this car's a masterstroke. Some of the roads around here are actually pretty bumpy, classic bumpy British B roads, but this car has still got enough pliancy, enough give in the suspension that it doesn't just feel horribly firm and super busy and uncomfortable. It's really well judged, and the handling, my God. I don't think I can criticise the handling in any substantive way. It really does it all, this car. Let's break that down a little bit. Amazing front end, tons of grip. This car's on the aggressive Pirelli tyre, that track day tyre, the Trofeo they call it. And we've had all weathers today. At the moment the roads are a little bit slippery, a little bit wet, and this tyre is just slightly out of its comfort zone, but in the dry, my God, it's got so much grip. That means you've got massive turning grip and huge traction as well. It's got so much body control, this car, it's not even worth talking about. It feels agile, beautifully balanced. It's so responsive. And the steering is just about perfect. It's hydraulically assisted, of course, and that means that you just have a sense of connection to the front axle and a confidence in the car that you just don't get from any E-Pass car. No matter how good they are, they can't match this McLaren's hydraulic system. So in terms of ride and handling, yeah, this 600 LT Spider is just perfectly judged and executed. It's so much fun to drive. And it doesn't feel compromised compared to the Coupe in any way.
LT, as you know, stands for Longtail. It denotes the sharpest, most focused version of McLaren's production supercars. And the 600 LT Spider really does have a long tail. This new rear end treatment adds, well, 74mm to the overall length of the car.
I'm on record as saying that I don't love the way the 600 LT looks, but looking at this Spider now, I reckon it looks fantastic. I love the flat grey colour and these wheels as well. It looks superb. The LT makeover includes a new aerodynamic kit. You can see it in carbon fibre on this car. The front splitter is more prominent by about 27mm. And then down the sides of the car, you've got new skirts that help to manage the airflow. At the back, clearly, you've got that massive rear spoiler and then the huge diffuser as well. At 155 miles per hour, that whole aero kit draws the car into the road, creating 100 kilograms of downforce, exactly the same as you get in the Coupe.
The Spider gets all the same weight-saving measures as the Coupe too, so it's 100 kilograms lighter than a 570S Spider, but only if you choose all the right weight-saving options. Dump the air conditioning and you save 12.6 kilograms, junk the stereo and that's another 3.3. Without fluids and with all the lightweight options, the 600 LT just about creeps them beneath 1300 kilograms.
Woo! I didn't love the 600 LT's engine in the Coupe because you've got that roof and it just sounds a bit flat, a bit industrial. despite the new top exit exhausts. But with the roof peeled away, it sounds astonishing. Woo! Right at the top end, the final third of the rev range, 6,000 RPM onwards, it starts to sound like a normally aspirated engine. It's got that musicality to it. But you only appreciate it with the roof back. The engine still has that degree of turbo lag. This 3.8 litre twin turbo V8, it's a familiar engine now, and it's always had that degree of lag in the first half of the rev range, up to 4,000 RPM or so. You put your foot down, and for a fraction of a second, nothing happens. But I think of it as lighting a fuse on a rocket. There's just a small delay after putting your foot down, and then bang! And it really is like being strapped to a rocket. It's so fast, so much power and torque. You surely never need a faster car than this on the road. Special doors. You always have to love special doors. I've also always loved this McLaren Sport Series interior. I just think it looks fantastic with these sculptural forms. What's really fantastic about this cabin though is the seating position. You sit on the deck with a lovely reclined bucket seat. The steering wheel comes out to meet you and your legs are way out in front of you, and actually your feet are quite high as well. You feel like you're sat in a competition car. Low scuttle, so you've got fantastic view out ahead. Yeah, it's brilliant. McLaren build quality can be a little bit patchy at times, but this car feels really good. Perhaps they're getting on top of it. Now, seats. You can option the 600LT with McLaren Senna style seats, those very lightweight seats. Don't. These are the ones to have. Not only are they more comfortable, they're also more supportive as well. The roof itself is really cool. You can operate it at speeds up to 25 miles per hour. It takes 15 seconds. And there's no drama like cruising down a high street if you've got the nerve in your supercar putting the roof up or down. One of the clever things about this car is that it's got the window just over your shoulder, so you can lower that, have the roof up, and still hear that amazing exhaust note. This car is a little bit lower, a little bit stiffer in terms of springs and anti-roll bars than a 570S Spider. But truth be told, there isn't a huge amount in it. It feels pretty similar to that car to drive. Maybe the big difference, in fact, is the way it sounds with those top exit exhausts, which make a huge difference. But to tell the truth, that's no bad thing. The 570S is a fantastic car, so McLaren only had to turn everything up just a little bit to make the 570S sharp and a bit rawer and a bit more thrilling, and that's exactly what this 600LT is. So it's not compromised dynamically compared to the 600LT Coupe. It's not a great deal heavier. You can have the roof down. It sounds a lot better. Do you know, this is the 600LT to have. Get the Spider.